The following is a non-profit fan video. Rilakkuma and Kaoru is a property of Netflix, Dwarf Studio, and Sanex. Please support the official release. Hello and welcome everyone to the Marr Show. Thank you guys for joining me for another fantastic episode. Before I begin, I do want to address that my throat is a bit sore. PSA, always wear a jacket outside in the freezing cold. So if I sound a little bit scruffy or my voice goes a little bit high-pitched or a little bit rough in some places, I'm just letting you guys know. That way you don't panic. It's like, what's going on? Does he have a Kermit in his throat or something? Don't you worry, I'm fine. It's just sore throat. I feel completely fine it is, but I just want to address that in case anyone's wondering what's going on with my weird voice today. A couple months ago, I talked about Hilda, one of my favorite shows in recent history, as well as being my personal favorite show exclusive on Netflix. And there's a lot of great shows that Netflix has that are just magical. I love so many shows and movies that they have. They're just fantastic. Even with Disney Plus and HBO Max, I'll still always see Netflix providing so much wonderful original content that has become really great personal favorites of mine and my brother's. And today, I want to talk about my second favorite show on Netflix, and that show is Rilakkuma and Kaoru. When I first saw the trailer, I didn't really know what to make of it at first. I mean, I was happy to see a stop-motion anime, so to speak, but I didn't really know who Rilakkuma was, who Kaoru was, what the whole series is gonna be about. But after watching all 13 episodes multiple times since it's released in March, it's just become a personal favorite of mine. It is so whimsical and relaxing. It's very slow-paced, but I love that. It's so atmospheric and ooh, it's just so cute and adorable as well. Let's just go ahead and talk about who Rilakkuma is to start out with, because if you were like me, never heard of Rilakkuma or Rilakkuma or anything, you're probably wondering, who's this bear? Why is he so big? Is he even a bear because he has that zipper on the back? Well, there's an answer for that. Okay, scratch the part about what Rilakkuma is, because I don't know what's in that suit. He could be Kaoru's father or a bear cosplaying as a bear. That would be meta right there, actually. Rilakkuma himself was created back in 2003 by a Japanese company called Sanex. They're known for creating so many different cute and cuddly characters and used for multiple different products. You can see them everywhere in Japan on like cups and pat bags, sweaters, plushes, everywhere. And they have a huge line of characters Sanex does, and I'm gonna try to pronounce some of these names the best way I can. So you got characters like Terra Panda, Sumikuma, Garashi, Korgipan, Meima, Goma, and Jewel Cat. And I'm not sure if Rilakkuma is the official mascot of Sanex, I'm not sure, but whatever the case, out of all the characters, he is the most popular. He's all over Japan, he's super huge, along with Rilakkuma and Kiwatori, so it's a no-brainer that in 2016, Sanex pitched the show idea of Rilakkuma and Kaoru to Netflix, and 4 years later, I think it really paid off. Well, not just because of the popularity that the show has gotten, but because it's such a delightful series. I really love it. You don't really see this type of series that much. An atmospheric, calming show that isn't focused on a heavy narrative or even heavy character development. It's just a relaxing show that you could watch even if you had a bad day. Just watching a couple episodes of Rilakkuma and Kaoru just refreshes your soul and just makes you feel lively again. Let's talk a little bit about the characters first before I get into the main show itself. You got the main character, Rilakkuma, obviously, who is simply a lazy bear. He's like Pooh Bear almost, or I guess you could say if he was the Japanese Pooh Bear. Is that even a saying? I'm afraid to even yuck. But Rilakkuma, all the time, he's sleepy, he's a bit slow active compared to Rilakkuma and Kiwatori. He loves eating dangus and pancakes. Overall, he's a very calm, relaxing animal. if he is an animal. Again, we don't know what's in that suit he wears. But much like Pooh Bear, you can't help but love him. He's so relaxing and always there, like whenever Kaoru's in a jam or she's feeling bad, just seeing him pat her on the back and everything and just seeing them cuddle. It's like you could just see Rilakkuma being the stress relief, a calming Mr. Rogers bear of some sort, of just comfort and relaxation, and someone who just wants to cuddle with, even if he doesn't do much and he's just a lazy bear. He's just cuddly, he really is. And then you got probably my favorite, Rilakkuma. Now Rilakkuma and Rilakkuma, they don't know each other. They're not related, they're not like brother or sister. And Rilakkuma, she can be lazy, but she's more active and a bit more cheeky than Rilakkuma. Also, I have to say, Rilakkuma has the most cutest noises ever. I mean, listen to this voice. It's so adorable! And then you got Kiwatori, who was actually the first pet that Kaoru owned. And he's more outgoing more than Rilakkuma and Rilakkuma, cleaning up, doing a lot of spring cleaning, collecting money, and having a bit more of an energetic personality and saying what he likes and doesn't like. So you got two bears and a chicken. That sounds like a very weird joke to start with. Two bears and a chicken walk into a bar! And they all live in the small apartment that belongs to Kaoru. And Kaoru has a bit more of a character growth compared to the flea animals. Kaoru means well, she loves having her flea animal friends, and whenever she comes home after a bad day, she always looks forward to seeing them brighten her up or day some. But there's also a few layers to Kaoru's personality, like she's overworked and doesn't feel like she gets appreciated that much. She has a lot of stuff that stresses her out, and I think she also has a bit of a sort of a depression a little bit as well, with like sometimes where she's uncertain of what to do, or whenever she hears her co-workers mention that sometimes she could take things a little bit too seriously. So there's a few little things about Kaoru that has some multiple layers, that has some character study within her. Although I guess if there's one flaw about the show I will admit is that sometimes with Kaoru's problems, it's not super clear as to if they're resolved a little bit, or even if they even get resolved. Like for example in the episode Hawaii, she gets a little bit sad when one of her co-workers went over there and had a really great time and is getting married and everything. So Rilakkuma and crew decides to recreate a luau for her. And I have to say, this is probably one of the best scenes in the show. It's just really adorable, and it's so heartwarming to see these flea characters cheer Kaoru up by doing something magical, and so adorable as well. It really is a cute scene. Of course, Kaoru does mention to them that if she had the plan to go to Hawaii, she wouldn't really take them, but instead take her future husband and everything. However, when she decides to record their luau dance, the performance goes viral overnight, and they're actually invited to go to Hawaii to perform, but without her. I will admit it is funny to see Tokira, who we'll get into a little bit, be the manager, but I also thought it was kind of a little mean-spirited to see Rilakkuma and crew not taking Kaoru with them to Hawaii, and it just feels like it was unsolved, and I felt that was a little bit cruel of not bringing Kaoru over. I guess it just felt a little bit mean, I thought. But the show is more emotional based, I would say, but I'll get into that here in a little bit. I do want to go back to Tokira and some of the other side characters that join along with, because it's not just Kaoru and the flea animal friends that go along with. The neighbor Tokira, who's voiced by Ash Ketchum, hangs out with them a little bit, and he's a bit more cheeky compared to Rilakkuma, but it's also fun seeing a small child getting to interact with the animal friends. It's just really cute to see. Then you got Hayate, the delivery man, who Kaoru is in love with. Then there's Sayu, a co-worker of Kaoru, who's, she's not really that likable, I would say. If anything, she kind of is the reason why sometimes Kaoru is a little bit sad. In fact, she's the one that said that Kaoru takes things a little bit too seriously. So she isn't really a friend of Kaoru, I would say, but more of an acquaintance, I guess. And that's one thing I do want to mention about the show, is that even though Kaoru has more layers, with like her having like a slight depression and being overworked and everything like that, the show never really dives deep into her character personality, or even with like her troubles being resolved at the end of each episode. But I don't think the show was really intended for that. It's definitely based on a lot of emotions and not much on explanation. It's sort of the same feeling I actually have with Fyodor Tugboat in a way. When you really look at Fyodor and the crew, they don't really have a lot of multiple layers or interesting dilemmas that go on. It's definitely more based on the emotions of each character. Like when Hank gets sad when all the tugs say no and everything's not going their way, or whenever the tugs feel scared about something they don't understand. It's based on emotions, and that's something I miss about Fyodor Tugboat, but also I want to see more in shows. It's based on emotions, and not so much about multiplying layers of like a dark secret within a TV show or anything like that, but just exploring the emotions and the atmosphere that a show creates that makes it such a wonderful experience. And I think Rilakkuma and Kaoru captures that emotions from Fyodor Tugboat so perfectly. Every episode of Rilakkuma and Kaoru doesn't really have like a strong narrative. I mean, halfway through the series, there is something going on that does impact the characters in a way, but it doesn't focus that problem a whole lot, as it's more of a slice of life feel as each episode actually takes place in a certain month. So like the first episode starts in the beginning of spring, so it starts in like May, then the next episode takes place in June, July, so it goes through every month in a year and shows a day that goes on with Kaoru and company, about them going like to a festival or spending the day out in the snow. It's a slice of life feel, and I love stuff like that. And that's the reason why I know it's weird of me comparing Fyodor Tugboat to a bear who's not even a bear. It's weird to combine the two. But I felt similar emotions to Rilakkuma and Kaoru that I had with Fyodor Tugboat, where the show is more focused on like the emotions instead of diving to a character's psyche or even the lore of a certain thing. There's a lot of slow, peaceful moments focusing on the atmosphere going on, like you see the cherry blossoms blooming or like the sun beaming down on the apartments and everything. It just makes a wonderful atmosphere of the show that just makes you feel at home. And with Rilakkuma and crew not talking a whole lot and helping Kaoru and Kyotiro in some of the issues, you just know what they're saying. Like when you see Tokiwa in his introduction episode mentioning of how his mom and dad aren't around with him as much, and you see Rilakkuma kneeling down, patting him on the back, and you just feel the emotions of going around. It's like you see that he's just alone, and the other characters identify with that, and they can see him, so they invite him back and have him come along, and he tags along with them with a couple months in the episodes, where he hangs out with them, plays with them a bit. In fact, there's one thing about the atmosphere of Rilakkuma and Kaoru that I really loved, that I found really interesting in an interview with the director of the series. He was inspired by Wes Anderson movies Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs, with the narrative he wanted to go with Rilakkuma and Kaoru. And if you have never seen this movie, for one, I highly recommend when you get a chance to, definitely watch it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. But another thing too, if you have seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, heck, any Wes Anderson film if you've seen, there's a lot of slow shots, there's not a whole lot of action in some places, and it focuses more on the atmosphere of the setting of the film, and I really loved how he incorporated those ideals that Wes Anderson is known for and implemented them in Rilakkuma and Kaoru. It definitely gives it such a unique vibe and makes it stand out from all the other animes and such that you usually see. And the animation is beautiful. It's very simple stop motion animation, but it's very relaxing, and many of the shots that they do of like the outdoors, like with the cherry blossoms and the snow, looks simply beautiful and simple. Although speaking of the animation, I want to mention this real quick, and I just thought it was funny, because me and my brother decided to show our mom the trailer for Rilakkuma and Kaoru. Our mom, she loved Rilakkuma, Rilakkuma, and Kiwatori, but she found the humans to be a little bit creepy, like with the eyes and everything. I never really had the issue. I just thought that was kind of funny when I was showing our mom about that. But then as I look further into the character designs of some of the humans, there are some that I will admit are a little bit off. Like this boy in the festival dancing, he has this weird face, and it's like, kid, what are you doing? You got an evil grin. Are you about to squash a bug or something? And I wouldn't be lying if I said that the gypsy woman in episode 8 looks an awful lot like Burgermeister Meisterburger. Although there's one character, since I'm going about character designs, that I have to say I have to make fun of whenever I see him on screen, and that's Kaoru's boss. I mean, he doesn't really do anything major. He's not like a threat or anything. He's sort of humble a little bit at times, but the way he looks like one of those intentionally evil villains or evil bosses that you see. Like, he comes in and he's just thinking evil thoughts behind the co-worker's back. It is just funny, and whenever I see him on screen, I have to just riff on him and just make him sound like he has a devious plan going on.
Good afternoon, fellow employees. You're expecting a large winter bonus for all your hard work. I'm happy to report that since your productivity has been low this past month, your bonuses will be put into good use for planting 20 million trees. I appreciate all your hard work, but please do not have any overtime, or there will be major consequences.
The next day.
See what happens when you get overtime?
Sir, I only have 2 seconds over. Is it a crime for just a few seconds?
My teacher did not allow me to run 2 seconds late to school. I'm sure as yours didn't allow it either.
Mr. Tamburo, your cashiers are here.
Oh, thank you, lovely lady who works here. Is she a new employee or something? Does anyone know?
Jokingly aside though, Rilakkuma and Kaoru has definitely become an instant favorite of mine. It may not have a whole lot of character study or such. Heck, a lot of Kaoru's problems don't really get explored or get even resolved that much. Like, for example, the Hawaii episode. And I will admit, for those who don't really like atmospheric or slow-paced shows, this one isn't for you. I will admit it can be slow at times, but I personally really loved it. I loved the emotions that each episode gave me. I loved the characters, like I love Rilakkuma, Rilakkuma, and Kiwatori, and Kaoru herself, and even Tokiro. He's just a fun kid. But it's a super sweet series that has a wonderful life-of-life storyline, and everything about it is just so whimsical and just heartwarming. Like, it's definitely based on emotions, and like what I mentioned with Fear the Tugboat, which is a future episode by the way, when I watched the Fear the Tugboat, I just felt the whole emotions. Like, sure, the series doesn't have like deep character growths or anything, but you just feel the emotions that the tugs are going through, and I literally felt that same vibe when I was watching Rilakkuma and Kaoru. It's so wonderful, and I really hope there's a second season for it. I highly doubt we'll see it next year. We'll probably end up seeing like 2021, I bet you, because I mean, if they started back in 2016, then that's about a usual time frame I expect. But it's a wonderful series that I really hope we get to see more of, as I really fell in love with Rilakkuma, and I definitely understand why a lot of people in Japan really love this bear, along with Rilakkuma and Kiwitori, Kaoru, and it's just a wonderful show. So if you haven't seen the 13 episodes on Netflix, I highly recommend giving it a shot whenever you get a chance. It's such a cute and wonderful show. And that's all the time we have for today, folks. So, if you have any thoughts on Rilakkuma and Kaoru, just comment below. And all 13 episodes are available on Netflix. There's a few short stop-motion shorts that I found on YouTube and such. And there's a lot of merchandise. Like, a lot. So, I'll let y'all deal with that. But, with any case, thank you guys for watching this episode. God bless yous. And I will see you all on the next episode of The Delmar Show. Bye-bye!